camera. That's on me. Thanks, Marakwet, for that sporty update. I promised that we will have an analysis segment with my guest tonight, Lydia, Mathia. Thank you very much for finding time to come and be with us. Yeah, there's a story that we ran earlier about IEBC, suspending the Mombasa and Kakamega gubernatorial elections, and I think there was also the Kachaliba and Pokot. Yeah. What's your reaction to that development?
I think any right-minded Kenyan is outraged because the IEBC should have done so much better.
Why outraged?
Because, first of all, this is a very logistical issue, so it shouldn't be that a commission of the experience of the IEBC. Remember, this is a commission that has already conducted one other election previously. Most of the commissions we've had before tend to have handled just the election that they handle, and then they are removed from office. Then you have a new commission. But this commission has been in office and has overseen the 2017 general election, and now they're overseeing a second election. The staff that they have told us that they have ensured that they have employed permanent and pensionable staff. They've gone through these contracting elements. They've managed contracts with their service providers before. They have told us about observers that they have sent to Greece to monitor the printing of ballot papers. We understand that they have staff who reside in the countries where these ballots have been printed and are able to regularly and on a day-to-day basis monitor the printing of ballot papers. There are also protocols around the printing of ballot papers. Before a ballot paper is printed, there is a procedure of looking at the design, of looking at the pictures that are put, the text that is put, confirming that the information is correct, and then the printing is done. So it is beyond anybody's wildest imaginations that of all the things they can mess up, that ballot papers, which are a strategic election item, can be bungled. And because of the protocols, and also remember the IEBC is funded to the tune of 44 billion shillings. These are taxpayers' coins. This is money that is coming out of the pockets of farmers in Kakamega and of fishermen in the coast, where now they're being told, we are not ready for you to elect your governor. So I think it is outrageous, and the IEBC really owes Kenyans a real and legitimate explanation. We have to know how that aspect was bungled. There are very many voices coming out. Very few people believe it's an honest mistake. I believe the Azimio la Umoja, Junet Mohammed, has come out and has said that after the election, they will be looking to the DCI to really go through the process of printing of these ballot papers to ascertain how it ended up that those four areas had misprint issues. These four electoral areas where the ballots have been messed up comprise cumulatively 1.5 million votes. That is significant. And it's significant because some of these positions also determine how the other positions are voted on. For example, a lot of presidential candidates rely on governors, on their governor candidates, to manage their aspirants, to manage the candidates beneath, for the positions downstream, to manage agents that are supposed to supervise the voting and the counting. And so kicking off the governor candidate really disrupts that entire value chain of how candidates organize themselves at the grassroots.
Do you see it affecting even voter turnout, for example, in those areas?
It can, because it is the competition between the governors. Remember, the stakes, once devolution started, the stakes were taken a little bit lower. So on top of the stakes around the presidential vote, the other high stake election is the governor election. And the jostling for this position pushes numbers up. Kenyans really turn up to vote for their governors. And so removing that particular ticket could, we don't know yet, but it could impact the voter turnout to an extent that an election loser could perhaps claim at the Supreme Court that had IEBC not been unable to deliver on the gubernatorial, we would have maybe been able to get more of our voters to come out, and if they do not lose by a margin larger than the depleted voter turnout, then they can successfully claim that we would have, if our voters were not suppressed, we would have won the election. That is somebody can pitch that at the Supreme Court.
Yeah, the chair of IEBC came out and tried to give an explanation, and he placed that problem right at the doorstep of the printer. Are you satisfied with that explanation?
No. What do you mean? Because the printer works for you. It's like I come to your house and then you give me a tea that is badly done, and then when I say, oh, this tea is bad, you tell me, oh, it's the housekeeper who has made the tea. It is in your house. You are the one who has employed the housekeeper. If you wanted her to make a certain kind of tea, you would have instructed that person to make that kind of tea. Also remember that these two gubernatorial candidates gubernatorial seats are situated in zones which are seen to be certain candidates' strongholds. So then the question begs, why did you blunder only in places where it's only one side that can claim that this is their stronghold? If it was so accidental, or if it was so sporadic, it could have been maybe some places where someone else can claim is a stronghold, and some places where somebody can claim is a stronghold. But when you look at all the 4 areas that have been affected, I believe Azimio is claiming that those areas are their strongholds.
They're their strongholds.
Yeah.
And I mean, you talked about the housekeeper in a manner of speech, and we know that the IEBC chair, Wafula Chebukati, has owned up previously to discrepancies within his file and rank, and we have seen him. Some clerks have been sent home who were found with transgressions, and so we see a chairman who is coming out and taking ownership of a problem and following it up immediately thereafter with remedial measures, and that record is there. So that's why I'm asking. He did give an explanation, that the printer, because it's a science, and the science that is being pushed through by the printer, and they are persuaded that it was an error from that side, and it had nothing to do with them on this other side, that they could only discover that error upon opening up of the material. And so maybe somebody watching might say, okay, all right, maybe a genuine problem, but then again...
Well, Tom, I've studied political science. It is very difficult for my mind to accept this kind of a coincidence. So I also know, and I can see that after the presidential election, the next most important election is the governor. There are only 47 positions. It's not like the MCA, you can say, there are so many. It's 1,450, preparations that you have to do with different names and different faces. These are just 47. They're just 47. So it is literally possible to confirm each of them on a morning meeting, and just be like, are we okay with Nairobi? Is Mandera correct? Is Kirinyaga correct? Is Kakamega correct? These are only 47 ballot papers. Only. Before now you run them for the numbers that they're supposed to be. So I think, for me, I am not satisfied with the explanation. Even if we forgive whoever, we accept the explanation and we forgive the mistake, there has to be consequences, because there is a breach. If it is an issue of contract management, or it's an issue of perhaps the person who was making the approvals, they were not diligent enough to really check these ballot papers, then certainly there has to be a reckoning. There has to be, it can't just be a mistake. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kenyans, this happened, and we are sorry, we'll have elections at a later date. No, it's okay, we accept your apology, but we also need you to have we need you to reckon, and whoever has made the mistake needs to reckon with it, because it is not just costing the reprinting of ballot papers. You're also talking about the term of office of these governors. So what's going to happen with Joho and Oparanya? Are they going to serve for longer than their term of office? Okay, because the elections are slated for a particular day, and they're supposed to happen together. That is the law, together with the election of the presidential election. How do you navigate the legal conundrum that is going to come out of this situation? What about the assembly? You know, are you going to have an old governor serving with a new assembly? What are the dynamics there, and how are we going to navigate them?
How are we going to navigate it? And you did mention that Junet made some comments that you'd be happy to even involve, after the election, the DCI, just to go and look at the nuts and the bolts. And I remember the little matter, the little outburst between, when you said that, between the DCI and IEBC over the Venezuela saga. But we saw, again, IEBC coming up, owning up, inviting all those political parties, and there was white smoke that billowed thereafter.
I have been a strong advocate of people giving IEBC the benefit of the doubt, because I had not seen reason for people to doubt an entire commission. Yeah. But as of today, we have seen several issues. Yeah. You know, it's not just this ballot paper issue. We've seen them had to fire staff in Nyanza because of electoral malpractices. Yeah. And
how does that make you feel, firing people who were in conflict with the standard code of procedures for IEBC?
I like that they're holding people accountable. Yeah. That is a good thing. But when too many things go wrong too many times, you know, someone starts to wonder, is this a systemic? Is there a systemic problem within IEBC? Is there a culture problem within the organization that makes people think that they can just do these things? And I'm saying it is not enough to apologize. It is not enough to tell us we are sorry. It is not enough to just fire people. We have to have management reckon with these mistakes that have happened, so that they're not repeated. They're not repeated.
Yeah. So if I hear you, then IEBC, broadly speaking, should be a neutral arbiter.
Absolutely.
All right?
Absolutely.
So my question would be, how then do you rate their public confidence levels?
They were good. I think Chebukati had been given the benefit of the doubt, and Kenyans are still hopeful that tomorrow will go okay. So that better be the last shocking development. I see people joking on the internet that, you know, given that this printing issue is only discoverable so late, you know, we might end up tomorrow morning with Raila Odinga, you know, name, and then the deputy there is Ruto, and then you have Gachagua with Wajakoya. I mean, how, you know, is there likely to be those kinds of problems? What about the Kim's kit? You know, are there going to be problems with the Kim's kit? Okay, so there is now Kenyans are starting to wonder, what else are you going to bungle? Is there something else that you're likely to bungle? You better not bungle anything else. And so I think that's where Kenyans are. It's like, okay, that was shocking enough. Let's hope tomorrow runs well. So tomorrow 6 o'clock, the stations better be open. The ballot papers better all be in their rightful place. The ballot booths, and the election kicks off without a hitch. If that happens, they will have regained, you know, some public trust and some confidence that could help us run into the counting and declaration. But they are really they are walking on very, very, very fragile ground right now.
So as we wind down, would you say it's more of the proverbial the fly that fell into the soup, that the soup is nice, but we headline the fly because we can see it in there, despite the fact that the soup is good? As we wind up, I just want to get your thoughts on that.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but bungling votes, you know, that add up to 1.5 million, that is consequential. That is consequential. And so we will move forward, but I am certain we will revisit.
I thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you so much.
All right.